Hi there, Michelle here. In today's video, I'm going to go ahead and tackle something that's been on my to-do list for a little bit now, and that is this little jar of cuttings. It's cuttings from all sorts of different Hoyas, different species of Hoyas, different varieties of Hoyas. I have basically been taking clippings and putting them in this jar and letting them root. They are ready to be pot up now, so I thought today would be a great day to do this. I hope that you will enjoy sitting down and listening to me just kind of go off on some topics. Well, not go off. I hope that you'll enjoy listening to me discuss some topics while I go ahead and do some repotting, and maybe you'll go ahead and get some plant chores done at the same time I am. If you like today's video, please consider giving it a thumbs up. That lets the word get out to the plant YouTube universe that I exist and that maybe some other folks might like to see my videos. If you'd like to assist me further, please consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't already done so. I have a wonderful viewership out there that has already got me to 500 subscribers. So if you would like to help me get to 1,000 subscribers, my next goal, I would really appreciate that as well. If you'd like to contribute to this video, please put a comment in the comment section down below. I promise I do read and respond to all the comments, so I will reply to you. It just may take me a day or so, so please be patient with me. And now let's go ahead and talk about our Hoya cuttings. This is a mixture of all sorts of cuttings I've had in this ball jar. It's a little pint jar. And I've had these for, I don't know, a month or two. I'm going to kind of take them out because I kind of took them out the other day. And then when I tried to put them back in, I couldn't put them in as well. So hopefully all these roots are still nice and juicy, from being in the water. It looks like they are. Looks like everything's healthy. So what I'm going to do is kind of just lay them down here, and we're going to take them one at a time. And I'm just going to feel the roots. Like, see this one? This one got kind of out of the water, and it looks like the roots are not good. So what I'm going to do with this one, unfortunately, this one has to go back in the water. But, I'm probably not. It's got this new leaf. This is a Finlaysonii type Hoya. This is my Finlaysonii, what I call the round leaf. This is its new baby leaf that it's got while it was rooting. This is kind of an unusual Hoya I have. I got this from a plant seller, and like in 2020, I think it was. And I have never really seen another one exactly, not quite exactly like it, but similar to it. I've never really seen anyone else have something like it. It's got these buds on the end right there. If you can see them, it looks like they want to start producing leaves. So I'd like to get this into some humidity. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in a little pot of my mixture over here, and we're going to go ahead and leave what's roots are on here and see what we need, and we'll just use what we got. And what I'm gonna do is I'm going to go ahead and pot this up because I want these leaf buds up here to grow. I want to put it in some humidity in this cabinet behind me. So I need to get it out of the water. So I'm going to pot this up. I think I'm going to pot it in a little 2-inch pot. This is the mix I'm currently working with, and I'll get a spoonful out so you can see it. This is tree fern fiber, orchiata bark, cocoa husk, perlite. That is the mixture I use. So it works pretty good for me. It's a nice chunky mix. I can keep it fairly moist, but allow it a nice dry out period time. I water it about once every 2 weeks. I put what I've been doing lately is I've been putting a saucer down underneath it, just a rimmed saucer, and I put it below it, and then I water it in place, and I have some of the water run through and accumulate in that saucer just a little bit. We're talking like maybe 3 millimeters, a quarter of an inch. And then what happens is that soaks up. I only leave in enough that will soak up overnight. So what I want is I want this to be watered, but then to soak up overnight. And what that allows is for this to be very thoroughly watered. And then because it's in a cabinet with higher humidity, it slowly dries out rather than dries out really fast. So this is my first one. I need to grab a wire and put it on here, but this is pretty firm. This is a thick stem, so it's not like the stem's going to flop everywhere. So Finlaysonii type done. So I'm just going to literally start at the top of the pile and work my way inward. And this is an interesting one to start with. I'm going to check the roots. I'm going to show you the roots. The roots are chunky. Look at those roots. Can you believe how thick they are? Look, wow. This is the ovifolia. This is the Hoya ovifolia. And this sure beats the ovifolia I have as the mother plant right now. To be really honest with you, this might become the mother plant because my mother plant is, let's just say the roots on the mother plant died, and I tried rerouting it. It's maybe going well and maybe not. So, things just have to wait and see. So I'm going to pot this into, that's a tall stem though. What about these?
A few moments later.
Okay, I have two options. I have the 3.5 inch, which is this option, and then I have the 2 inch, which is this option. We're not going with the 2 inch. We're going with the 3.5 inch, which actually makes a very nice Hoya. I will go ahead and put on the screen over here. It's right there, actually. It's just right off camera. You just can't see it. But no, what happened was my mother plant got dried out and it root rotted because of dry rot. And I took a cutting, what I did was I repotted it into a chunky mix, and this was a piece that I didn't feel comfortable in rooting in with the rest of the plant. So I put it, and I decided to try and water root this piece. And actually what's happened is, in general, for me, it takes me a lot longer to root in substrate than it takes me to root in water. And so this Hoya that I'm potting up right now looks 20 times better than the Hoya, my mother plant, that is trying to reroot in this mixture directly. And you know, that's understandable. Where it comes down to is if the plant can survive, because I kept it in very large pieces like this. So you know, it's you have to be careful that it's a tightrope that you're walking when you reroot cuttings. You have to balance water absorption with cutting size. If you take the cutting too large, it can't absorb enough water. So you go like this, and the plant cutting dies of desiccation, and I'll show you that in a second. It dies of desiccation before it has a chance to root. So here is my ovifolia, all potted up. That is a pretty, pretty, pretty little plant. I love it. To talk to you about desiccation, I'll show you. Desiccation. Healthy Caudata big green leaves. Thick leaf. It's cardboard-like. You feel it. You can hear it. Now, let me show you a Caudata leaf that fell out of the water. See it? See how it's paper? Look how thin it is. Can you see how thin and nothing it is? And it's just nothing but paper. However, even seeing how desiccated and dry this piece of Caudata is, I will still put this in water and try to reroot this. This will probably fail because once the petiole starts getting really thin and dehydrated, that's kind of the end. But I'm still going to attempt to rehydrate this. I'm not even going to cut the growth tip that I think is dead off. I'm only going to cut the stem that was connected to the rest of the plant off. So there we go. So I am going to save this. It's going to go back in the water. I might even just stick the entire thing in the water and just let it soak for the time that I'm doing this video, and just kind of kickstart the rehydration process. And then, you know, after that, I'll just go ahead and put it in, you know, maybe I'll add some Super Thrive to it. Okay, so now this is an actual healthy Caudata big green leaves. Very nice, very healthy. This, I have another one. This is healthy too, but has no root. It has one little tiny root that looked like it got rehydrated. So this is very leathery feeling. It's not very hydrated yet, so I'm going to put that back in the water as well. So basically what happened was I repotted my Caudata and it failed. oh, did it fail. It hated the pot I put it in. I learned a very important lesson with the pot I had. The pot I had did not uptake water very well with the chunky mix I had. So I am doing a different self-water type of a situation. I am using a pot like this, but I'm using a tall saucer. So that way it's a direct feed rather than in with these little feet that don't soak anything up. So I think I'm gonna put, oh, that's a tall, let's see. That's wishful thinking. This 4-inch pot is really wishful thinking, but this is, a little too short. But I don't know. What do you think? You think I should put it in the 2-inch pot or the 3.5-inch pot? I'm leaning towards the 3.5-inch pot. That way I can repot everything into one. But am I going to take it out and then repot it back in when cuttings like these get bigger? Am I going to do that? I don't know. And how many? Okay. Just because this is a tall stem, I'm going to pot it in the 3.5-inch. I always err on the side of caution with pot size. I am not really one of those people that believe that you have to keep it root bound in order for it to survive and do well. I think Hoyas do like to grow into their pots a little bit, but just a little bit. I don't really think that they will not grow until they grow into their pot. I definitely think that they will start growing before roots touch the sides of the pot, which is what I used to think. I used to think that, they wouldn't grow until the roots touched the side of the pot and they felt constrained, but I don't feel that way now. It's just been my experience with my plants in my growing conditions. So, if yours seem to not grow until they get a little pot bound, then keep doing that. That's what's important, is what works for you. That's what I always say. That's like if you are not, by the way, this is my Caudata big green leaf, all potted up. Like I said, for those of you that aren't familiar with me, with my videos, I grow in the desert, so I grow in ultra low humidity. And dang it, I broke a growth tip. So I grow in 20% humidity, if not lower. So what works for me in terms of drying out the plant, like in terms of how long to water things and how long things need to go between waterings and things like that, that's totally different for me than it is for you. That's so you always have to take in consideration when watching my videos or watching anybody's videos is take into consideration what are their where are they located? How does that compare to where you're located? So you will know how their growing conditions are the same or different than yours, because they might be very different than yours. Okay, so now this is my very sappy Griffithii. I have 3 cuttings right here. And I probably could put this in a larger pot, honestly, because these got some major roots. See these roots right here? Major roots. So, but I didn't bring anything larger than 3.5. Well, I brought a 4, but it's not really much bigger, honestly. So, let's see, what about the 4? Maybe we should do the 4. I'll do the 4. 1 4, why not? 1 4-inch pot, so. And I hate doing multiple cuttings in a pot, because what ends up happening is I play plant twister, and I spill a whole bunch of substrate usually, and make an ugly job positioning cuttings. So I normally like to film my videos earlier in the day, but if you can notice outside, I have the windows open, which should tell you that it's not in the middle of the blinding day, because it was cooler out today, and it was, 107, 109, something like that. But when I went out today to get the supplies for the video, my bins, my plastic bins, I went to go pick them up. They're all shattered. The sun, I had them out, so I could. I had them out on the. I have a potting bench I got for my birthday a couple of years ago, and I had my bins of substrate and pond and stuff stacked up next to my potting bench, and I'd had them there for a few months, and the sun started really hitting them, and they have shattered to little bits. So I have to get new bins now, which is lovely, because these bins are brand new. They're Target bins. I thought I was getting a good deal. No, don't put them out in the sun. This is my Griffithii cuttings to go along with my Griffithii plant that I have no room for any more cuttings. So I'm thinking, I don't know, this might go for sale, maybe. Needs to get cleaned up all the sap off of it though. But it looks good. It's got some nice green on green splashing. It's a very attractive little guy. So we got that done. So that was a real bummer of a surprise, I'll tell you what. This next one is, I think I'm saying it right, Anil caldonica. And I took this as a little cutting off of the mother plant I have, which was just not doing very well. It's in pawn, and I think it hates it. I'm pretty sure it hates it, actually. So I took a cutting and put it in water, and boy, it sure rooted really well. I'm not sure if I want to put it in this 2-inch pot or a because see, if I put it in this 2-inch pot, I have to put it right on the edge because of the overhang.
3 hours later.
Okay, so now instead of the 2-inch pot, I'm going to pot it up in a little cup. I got this Neo Caldonica from a plant friend in a swap. So it's a lovely little plant. It's the cutest little leaves. They're very. I have a new plant that has leaves very similar to it, and it's called a Sulawesi turtleback, or yeah, I think that's the name of it. And I'm gonna just put this pin in it just to keep it from wobbling all over the place. So that's my Neo Caldonica, which is really cute. The mother plant of that is actually right over here too. Okay, now let's dunk these into the water. Keep the roots fresh. Don't want the roots to dry out. Even got a Maranta in here. I told you, got a little bit of everything in here. Okay, wow, I don't know. Okay, this is the very last, latifolia from Sarawak that I have. And as you can see, it's got a burned mark from where I burn it with the light. This is sad. This is a very sad situation for me. And I'm going to pot it in a big 3-inch pot because these grow fast. I started off with one leaf. I tried to make a rectangle pot wall of Sarawak cuttings, latifolia from Sarawak cuttings. That did not do well, and the cuttings were in pawn because it was a self-watering pot. This rectangle pot was a self-watering pot, and all the cuttings died except for this one. So I went from 0 to having about, I don't know, maybe 30 leaves, and then they all died except for this. And I don't know what this one is doing, but I'm hoping that it's got 2 growth points that are doing very strange things. If you can see inside there, see what the growth points are doing. They're more like arrowhead points. They're very light in color. So I'm not really sure what they're doing. I would feel better about it if this leaf didn't have the burn damage from it, because then I could have one perfect leaf and be happy about it. But no, the one leaf I have is damaged. So, but hopefully this will start growing. It's got two active growth points. Hopefully they turn into something. So this is my latifolia from Sarawak. The next one I'm going to work on is, let's see. This is a very, 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 this is a very chlorotic rotundiflora. Let me show it to you. Rotundiflora, very dehydrated, or very chlorotic. Look, there's more, and it's got new growth. And let me look at the roots. Okay. All right, so this has got a couple of iffy roots. So still. Okay. So I think I'll still put these in one small cup. And maybe, you know, buy one, get one. So, you know, I've talked about having my knee replaced, and I'm doing physical therapy twice a week, thank goodness, not 3 times a week. I couldn't handle 3 times a week. But, so I'm doing physical therapy twice a week on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Or, I'm sorry, Tuesdays and Thursdays. And so today is a Thursday, so I had therapy today. And one of the exercises that I do is wall squats. And thankfully, because, you know, I'm old and out of shape and have a new knee, I get to do them with a big yoga ball. But today I was doing them with a yoga ball. And you have to understand, I've had pretty significant knee trouble for a very long time, you know, more than 1 decade. So one of the things that I have not done in a very long time is squat. I've ruined my back by leaning over too much and sticking my butt out in the air for everybody to see. This is the first time in probably 20 years I've done any type of squatting. So it's a new exercise to me, and it's very aerobic. Okay, so these are my rotundiflora cuttings. All we have left is we have 3 crassipediolata cuttings. And then we have 5 crassipediolata cuttings. And then we have a maranta, which is growing and spreading pups. Very cute. So after I was done doing my wall squats, because I'm, you know, old and not good at doing exercise, I had to sit down and take a little break. And The Price is Right was on, and the physical therapy technicians that were there were like, I'm like, oh, Price is Right. And they're all like, yeah, do you know The Price is Right? I'm like, of course I know The Price is Right. I grew up watching The Price is Right. And they were like, yeah, we were just discussing, we think all the boomers really like The Price is Right. I'm like, I'm not a boomer, I'm a Gen Xer. So, but anyway, it was funny. I'm like, I'm not a boomer. I'm not a boomer, I'm a Gen Xer. Get it right. Get your generations right. But yeah, it's true though. I told him it's true. I said, my My grandmother is from the greatest generation, and boy, she loved The Price is Right. That was like the bomb. The reason why I asked this was I was just wondering, did you guys grow up watching The Price is Right? Did your parents or grandparents watch The Price is Right with you? I thought there was and I told them, I said, well, we always watched The Price is Right because it was the last thing on before the soaps, the afternoon soaps. So, my grandparents would turn it on, my grandmother would turn it on, so I had something to watch before the soaps, which she wouldn't allow me to watch. So I always thought that was interesting. So you let me know. Of course, that's a U.S. thing too. The Price is Right. Bob Barker, now Drew Carey. I grew up with Drew Carey being a stand-up comedian. But so I got a kick out of that today in physical therapy. That because my husband's such every time he's home during the morning, he watches The Price is Right. So I thought that was hilarious. So as she did. Okay. So now we have a little cup of Maranta, and I took apart the little new growths because they had roots of their own, and I want to get them separate because they would not all fit in this pot without being separated. So I wanted to separate that. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to set this up. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Cressy Petiolata cuttings. I have 1, 2 one-node cuttings. I have two node cuttings, and then I have one that has four leaves. It's one node, but it's 4 leaves. I'm going to pot up a 1 node and a 2 node together. So 2 and 1, 2 and 1, and then this 1 node with 4 leaves as one of its own. And so my battery is about ready to run dead. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and change my battery, and when I come back, I'll be ready to start potting those up. So see you back in just a minute. Okay, so I'm back. So let's go ahead and get these potted up. And because I plan on selling these, I'm going to put them in plastic cups. So, yeah, I'm hoping that I only have about 1 more month of physical therapy left to go. I have what's supposed to be my final orthopedic doctor appointment in about 3 weeks, and I'm supposed to see where I am then. Right now I am bending. My leg is bending and straightening exactly where it's the maximum of where I need to be. So everything from here on out is just icing on the cake, and getting to be, I was pretty hyper mobile before. So, just getting back to where I was before I had surgery. So I mean, it's hard to believe it's been 2 months, and it's hard to believe it's only been 2 months, because it seems like it's been, some days it seems like it's been not that long, and some days it seems like it's been a really long time. But I don't know. I'm getting to the place where, like today I climbed up the stairs the regular way, which, is one leg after another, not, up the step, the left leg, every step is the left leg. So, I did that, and it didn't cause me too many problems. So, I'm getting to the spot where, I'm seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, I think. So, I had a doctor, actually it was a doctor my daughter saw, and I was in the room, and she asked me, she said, "Oh, I see you had knee surgery." And I said, "I did." And she said, "Oh," she goes, "Are you wishing you never had it done?" And I said, "No, actually, I was going to say I wish I had it done sooner." I mean, it's, there's a lot to it, don't get me wrong, but I mean, it's not, compared to how much pain one can be in before the surgery. I mean, to me, it's short-term pain worth long-term gain. The only thing is it was, it was tricky for me to decide because I was so young. I'm only 51. And, these implants are designed to last 20 years, which means I would need to have another one, eventually. Hopefully not eventually. How they figure it is, they say after 20 years, 90% are still in use. Well, I'll probably be in the 90%. I mean, I'm not golfing. I'm not jogging, So I'll take that calculated risk. I'll take that calculated risk so I can climb stairs again and enjoy the upstairs of my home again. Sure, I'll try that. What would you do? What would you do? Okay, guess what? We're all out of cuttings to do. That is it for today. Thank you so much. We did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We did 11 cuttings today. 2 of them are getting thrown back in the pond for further development. And I think this is a good start. I got a big chore tackled off of my to-do list. This one's been staring at me every time I go to my kitchen sink for the past few weeks. So I'm so glad to get this off of my checklist. And I'm going to be real honest with you. I didn't think I was going to sit down and do this video today because, like I said, today was physical therapy day, and it's been kind of a rough day after that. I've been kind of hobbling around, so I didn't think I was going to do it. I decided to go ahead and do it anyway, and me talking to you guys through this camera, helped me forget about it for a good 35 minutes or so. So thank you so much. And thank you so much for watching until the end. I know that you have so many things that you can do with your time, so I really appreciate it that you spent it with me. Until next time, I'll see you then. Have a great day. Bye.
In a world of green, just like a dream, you and I stand in wild